Welcome back to the sweatshop, boys and girls. Today we are working on a 2001 BMW 525. The issue is it has a no start condition. The engine turns over, but doesn't sound like it's getting any fuel. When you turn the key to the on position, you don't really hear much of a fuel pump or anything at all. And then when you try to start it, a whole lot of nothing happens. So we're gonna pull up that back seat and see if we can test that fuel pump out and see what's going on with it. One of the nicest things about the BMW is it's quite easy to get that back seat out. Once you get the back seat out, you'll have this covering your fuel pump. You're looking for the one with more wires because there's a transfer pump on that side. You pull this up, you'll have to cut it if it's original around this area here. Then there'll be 3 Phillips screws that hold this plate in, and you can access your fuel pump and wiring. And we can see here there is a bit of a treat from some little critter who has made this thing its possible home. So let's go ahead now and see if we can test the fuel pump. And I'll be using my favorite tool there, the power probe. So I got my power probe sticking out of the harness currently on the positive side. Generally in BMWs, the brown wire is the ground wire. The other 2 wires are considerably smaller, so usually they are not for the pump. The majority of the time, the fatter, thicker wires are the ones that go to the pump. The white wire with what looks like a blue stripe is the power side. Now is one of the times when you can actually benefit from your power probe having an audible sound, because in order to check whether you have power, there is a distinctive sound for power or ground when you switch the key, but you're not able to check it while being here. So let's go turn the key and we'll leave the audible sound on, and you'll see the difference to see whether we have power here or not. As you can see, we are getting power to the circuit. Now what I'm going to do is take the audible sound off, put power to the circuit manually with my power probe, and see if we get the pump to run. If the pump is running, then we'll look elsewhere for other potential issues, like a clogged line or a damaged line or something of that sort. So very quickly with a screwdriver and a mallet, I tapped around the fuel pump in order to maybe get it to come to life. Unfortunately, I was unsuccessful. So looks like I'm gonna have to freeze my butt off out here and remove this fuel pump and do this in the cold. Should be nice and fun. How you're gonna do that is you're gonna get a nice flat screwdriver and then tap around the steel portion of the fuel pump cap here. Unfortunately, living in Canada, it's full of rust, so hopefully it comes off nice and easy and I don't have to do any kind of crazy acrobatics to get this stupid thing off. The next step will be to jam a screwdriver in here, release the clip by moving it forward like so. Just gently pull up on it once it is released. The other thing here is to stick a little screwdriver in there, open that clamp up, get rid of it, and then replace it with a worm clamp. All right, let's go order that pump. Just hammer that ring off so you can get the fuel pump. Be very gentle with it. Just keep working your way around it, and then you should end up with a result like this. Okay, harness time. Just pry it gently and then wiggle it up like that. Try your best to get some of this crap out of there. If your vehicle is in normal condition, it won't have most of this shit there, so but you don't want that stuff getting into your tank. Ugh, nasty. Now take your flat screwdriver, get in between here and open this clamp up. Don't be overly aggressive because you can break that plastic housing, and if you do that, well, then you're really fucked, because I think BMW is the only one who sells that crap. Nobody got time for that shit, bruh. Just keep working it back and forth. Make sure you support the plastic. Just get that stupid thing off now. Once you do that, work the holes. Just slowly pry back on it with your small screwdriver. If need be, get a clip remover. Just keep prying, man, like that. Yeah! Okay. Pull the ring out. Grab your fuel pump assembly. You want to just kind of wiggle it free. Okay. Just be gentle. Now, remember, it's kind of hard to see here on camera, but what you are looking at or trying to do is get your pry bar between the 2 white pieces of plastic and just slowly pry up nice and easily like that. Okay. And then you can wiggle it out of here. Just be very gentle because your float is in there. And that guy, he ain't easy, you know what I mean? Just be very gentle. Oh, looks like the Freshway Raceway has some action going on, boys and girls. Okay, once you get that out of there, empty all that schmutz. Okay, so when doing this job, try to avoid doing it in the winter because gasoline is extremely cold. But these two tabs here are what hold it. There's a clip on this side and a clip on this side. This portion here is a bit harder in my experience to get it off. This side relatively comes off easy, but you can't just yank up on it because you'll destroy shit. So be very careful. And voila, here is your fuel pump. Now we're gonna bench test this to confirm 100% and call it a day, and then we'll swap this pump out inside on the bench. Okay, so we have it now on the bench and we want to test and make sure, confirm 100% that it is the pump. Of course, on the bench, when I tested it, it did work. So I'll show you how you can confirm that it is the pump. Currently, it ain't doing any... Okay, well, of course it just came to life there. Now, when it comes to life, you're going to think to yourself, like, what the hell's going on? Did I just screw myself up? But you haven't. You can test it by putting your finger over the outlet tube. You hear that pressure building. And then when you try to test it again, of course, it doesn't happen on camera. But when you test it again, it stops working, which means that the fuel pump is faulty. Now all we gotta do is order that fuel pump and put it in. Now that we have confirmed that the fuel pump is faulty, what we need to do is get the pump out of its casing. So let's start by removing these wires here. Once you get the wires out of the way, you'll need to separate the strainer. Just a nice flat screwdriver will help you do that. Well, there's some nice crap and dirt in there. That's awesome. Then you just want to get this plastic here out of the way. It's a bit of a pain sometimes, but just want to put a little bit of pressure and then clear this little tab here like that. Now, if you get one that's a real pain in the arse, what you can do is spray a little bit of WD-40 on it, and that'll help it come out. Now, don't be overly aggressive because you don't want to break the actual plastic piece. That'll be a bad idea. Another important thing is to make sure you note the way the pump is sitting in this piece of plastic, because if you don't and you put it back the wrong way, you're gonna have a hell of a time outside freezing. Well, depending on where you're doing it, of course. You're gonna have a fun time putting it in. So in my case, I will freeze my balls off, which in my case I'll be freezing. So don't do what I do. Only if I'm doing it right, then do it. Come on, you want to come out, right? You want to go to car heaven, don't you? Ooh, don't stab yourself. That's always bad. I did that on camera so you guys wouldn't do the same. Ooh, looks like we need to get that WD-40 out. Come on now. Let's get the rest of the way there. Okay, now all we got to do is separate this hose, and it's the same process as the last one, or you can just cut this clamp altogether. Once you get your pump separated from the hose, you got to get your pump out of this plastic tray. It's not hard. All you got to do is just get your screwdriver in between those little tabs there on the three corners, and you're good to go. I would start with this one first and then work your way around nice and slowly. That's pretty much it. I mean, it's not much to it. I'm going to leave mine all together because I think the complete assembly is coming with it, so I should be good to go. Okay, so this is our new pump assembly here. All we have to do is basically attach this hose here to this piece here. We didn't really have to do the last step that I showed you. You might have to if you get just the pump itself. But yeah, this one comes with this little plastic bracket. Oh, look at that. It's fucking broken. Pile of motherfucking shit. Seriously? Well, looks like we will be fucking replacing this plastic shit. So, at least the BMW one is fucking good. Thank you, Auto Camping. Well, there's some video evidence. You can see that fucking shit is no good. So, we will be replacing it. Now, to slide this hose in here, Usually most people do it with a clamp over top of the hose. I'm a little bit different. These hoses are really tight fit, and so is this clamp. So it's a bit of a pain in the ass to fit over. Best way is to slide it over the pump first, then push the hose on. Once you get the hose on, then you can put the clamp up against the hose like that, or over top the hose, sorry. And now you can just clamp it down. These clamps can be a pain in the ass. That little piece there can stab you pretty good, so be very careful when trying to force it down. Now, before you go ahead and clamp the clamp, what you're going to do is rotate this hose assembly to make sure that it's in a comfortable position. Set the pump up in its natural state, the way it's going to be situated in the tank, just to make sure that there's no strain on the hose and it doesn't feel like it's in an unnatural position, because that'll cause it to rupture possibly or deteriorate over time. Once you're happy with the position that the hose is in, then you get your end clippers like this. Just get your clippers like that and tighten the clamp up and you're good to go. Now, don't go overly crazy with the clamp. You want to make sure that it's tight and in position properly. Make sure that you put the locking tab down there in the proper position, and then to check it, make sure that you can't twist it easily. If the hose can't rotate, you're good to go. It's tight enough. Then just put your connectors back. Remember, positive and negative, you cannot mess this up. If you somehow do, you're a very special person. The negative side is considerably smaller than the positive side, so very easy. All right, and that's it. You're good to go. We can now take this over to the car and, in my case, freeze my butt off and install it back into the car, verify that everything works, and we'll be good to go. Let's do that. Now, the key thing here is speed for me, because it is freezing cold. It's currently like -10 outside, and there is no sun for me here, so it's a lot colder than that. Get the pump back into the basket that holds it, and then you got to clip it into place. Just be gentle with it and make sure you can actually see what the hell you're doing. Sneak the holes in there. Oh fuck, why is gasoline so much colder when it is super fucking cold out, man? Try your best to get it in place as quickly as possible, because this job sucks in the cold. Okay, so this is how the pump should sit. If you look at this little black, come on, focus. If you look at that little black knob there, there is an O-ring if you were paying attention earlier. That O-ring does have to fit into a little tube that you can no longer see because obviously the pump is in place. Then you just make sure that this tab, come on, focus. Make sure that this tab here and the other tab on the other side and the tab on that side there is in place and locked into place properly. Once you get those steps completed, your pump is installed properly and it's not gonna go anywhere. With that done, now you can sneak your regulator back in, or your level sensor, and you are good to go. Now, when sneaking the level back into place, what you got to do is put the gasket around the clear ring out there, and then once you get that gasket in there properly and it's nice and seated, then you can put the assembly back into place properly. The tricky thing is there is that little plastic piece that sticks off. There is a bit of a hole there that you got to sneak it into. Once you sneak it in there, it should drop right in like this. Once you get it sitting properly, it should look something like this. And then all you got to do is push it down the rest of the way, but you got this tab here in the back. So once you get that properly aligned, it'll slide into place nicely. Use your little screwdriver for that. And goddamn, hopefully no one out there has to do this in -10 weather. It sucks balls. Okay, so once you get it lined up properly, the pump will fall into place. Next step after this is to put this stupid ring back on. Once you get the ring back on, you're gonna put your hose back on with a brand new clamp, and then put your electrical connector on. Before you put it all back together, just verify that it's working and you are good to go. Now, once you get to this step here, you got your hose connected and your connectors. Your next step is to try the thing and make sure that it works before you put it all together. Also, you want to make sure that this hose here isn't going to leak when you start it up. Now, don't forget to prime the pump. Just do that 3 times. 3 should be enough, and then fire. And as you can hear, we have fixed it. Goddamn, it's so cold. Now, the primary goal for me is to let this thing run and heat up so that when I get back into it, I can feel my hands, legs, feet, eyes, ears, nose, and the rest of my body. Goddamn. Our final step is going to be to vacuum all of this up, get it out of the car and then put this stuff back together, making sure that it's all sealed up properly and it all runs now. We are good to go on the mechanical side of things. We just gotta clean it up, put the seat back, and that's all she wrote for the BMW. That's what it should look like before you put your chair back on. Let's go get that chair. Once you get your chair back in, it should look nice and pretty like this again. Folks, that's all she wrote for the BMW. If you liked the video, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss one of my new videos. We will see you in the next one. Welcome back to the sweatshop, boys and girls. Today we have a car that seeks to destroy our happiness because we have to fix it. Don't forget to look both ways before we get run over on the Freshway Raceway. BMW. Fuck. You'll have this plate. This is the wiring harness here, and you can see those two. Jeez, Jimmy, come on. And then you'll pull up out and then replace it with a worm clamp. And then, fuck you, come off. Yeah, get that bastard out of the way. I can do an Indian accent because my wife's Indian, so getting high from the fumes. Once you get the wires out of the way, the basket past fucking assholes. Need my long pointer stick. Let's just go again. Don't think that's sitting properly, man. Fuck off. Oh god damn it, it's cold today, man. It is fucking nice and cold. And then just come on, mister. Don't fucking listen, man. I got a match, alright? Don't fuck with me. Okay. Jesus Christ, it's cold today, I'll tell ya. Once you get your chair back in, it should look pretty like this again. Why is it so orange? What the oh, my glove. Damn it. Once you get your chair back in, it should look nice and pretty like this again. Yeah. That sounded weird.